Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the world of home tech with me, your host, Paul Hibbert, and welcome to... Wait for a second. The biggest phone in the universe! So this is the first time I've ever been sent a phone for review, so this is a new experience for me. This is a phone from a company called E&L. It's a W9, and it has these things. What are these things? Let's have a proper look. Dustproof, okay. Waterproof, resist compression, shockproof, knife-proof, and antiseptic. What does antiseptic mean? Okay, that's nonsense. It's not antiseptic, that's silly. It's not made of soap. It better not be made of soap. Oh my god, it's freaking huge! Look at the size of that thing. My favourite part of every video is revealing the shiny. Show me the shiny. Oh, yes. Yes, very shiny indeed. It's shock resist, and it's HTO submersible, which is some fantastic English. HTO submersible, I love it. I like the way the box is laid out. That's nicely packaged. Get away. That's not an English plug. Me. Not reading those. Very normal looking, average looking headphones. They're not really the concern, are they? They're not really the interesting thing. The interesting thing is when I press this power button and things happen. Woohoo, E&L. Hello, E&L. It's like a tablet. But I'm okay with that, you know? I've never really had a problem with having big phones. When Nisha first met me, we were in a nightclub, and it's quite a long time ago, and I had like this enormous PDA, and she thought I was playing a Sega Game Gear in the nightclub. She couldn't understand why I was doing that. So I'm no stranger to big phones. So to be completely fair to this thing, it isn't for me. It's for big burly buildermen. It's for men who want to club other men to death with their mobile phones, because this is a weapon. And that is all of the things in its favour. It's what it's for. This thing is supposed to be practically indestructible, and if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see videos of people doing terrible things to it, and it just going, hey, can't kill me, I don't care, I'm a mobile phone, and I am totally indestructible. You will not kill this very easily. Certainly not without trying to do so on purpose. So that is all the good things about it. There are lots of other good things, and I'll go into them shortly. Here are some of the bad things. So bad thing number one, because this phone is indestructible, so are the buttons. It's like really kind of hard to press them. This is not a girl's phone. This is a big, manly, burly man phone. It's not like I can't press them. I can press them easy enough. It's just going to take some getting used to is all. Problem number two, if you don't trust Gorilla Glass, then you've probably left the screen protector on that came with it. The screen protector has two problems. One, it's got like bubbles in places where there's dust, as if I just put it on myself and it wasn't done in a factory. And two, you have to give the screen a right good jabbing a lot of the time in order to send messages. It gets quite tiring after a while. I've taken the screen protector off. I'm just going to trust the Gorilla Glass. Problem number three, the ports are all protected by a rubber flap. This is to protect the phone from water. Unfortunately, it also protects the phone from you. You won't be able to get to your cables in very easily for two reasons. There's a pain to get this thing open. You won't be wanting to do it at night time. And secondly, these things are like really recessed into the case, which means that you won't get a lot of cables in here. You'll have to use the one that came with it, or find a cable that doesn't have a thick butt. Dirty. Problem number four, the battery on this thing is insane. Its 4,000 milliamp battery takes forever to charge, and I don't know why. It's not like other 4,000 milliamp batteries take ages to charge. And the other weird consequence is, you won't find every cable will even charge it. And I don't get that at all. I thought there was something wrong with the battery at first until I used their cable again and everything went back to normal and it was able to charge. You're going to want to charge this thing overnight, probably not during the day, but the battery does get me through the majority of a day. Here is a list of all of the things I did, because I don't get why people say, oh, well, the battery lasts a day or the battery lasts only 6 hours. Depends what you do with it, doesn't it? I did these things. So doing those things for an entire day, this battery survived. The fifth is a bit of a shame. The camera sucks. The camera is, how can I put it? It is kakapupu. It does not work very well. It does very little that you would like a camera to do. The video footage is blurry as it swings around. The single shots it takes are pretty poor. They're not terrible. I mean, if you're going to use this for business for the purposes of taking photos of things to send back to the office, it's not really going to be that bad, I guess. But if you're planning to be a big photographer whiz type person, it's not going to work for you very well at all. You'll regret it. Do not buy this phone for the camera. Get a camera for a camera. That's my advice. So the first thing I've noted with this phone is, I mean, it reacts quickly and it's great to use, except sometimes it doesn't quite grasp that you've swiped. And it's because I think the screen protector they've put on it, the screen protector is already scratchy, which is, I mean, I've barely used it for a week, so that kind of sucks. But I want to take the screen protector off because I want to give this thing a fair shot, and I want to see how it performs without a screen protector hampering its ability to react to my touching it. There it goes. This is going to be really satisfying. Oh yeah, that feels good. Look at the size difference of those two phones. That is ridiculous. So before we begin, remember this is like hundreds of pounds more, but I think it gives you a good idea as to what you're waiting for. And swipe them open. And you'll see the speed at which they both react if I kind of move at the same time. Yeah, this screen just feels a little bit stickier somehow than the S7 Edge. I guess because it's bigger as well, you have to swipe a larger surface area for it to move. But that's okay. I can forgive it that. Okay, that's one of those things you'll get used to. It's not really a big deal. So you can see the reaction time is absolutely fine, really. So let's try and load Facebook and see how that works out. Much slower. But does that really bother you? I mean, I think that's kind of the thing here, is how bothered are you at that reaction time? Are you several £100 of bothered? I mean, that's not really... That's fine. I mean, that's pretty good. I have only got Facebook running at the moment, I must point out. So we'll try loading YouTube up simultaneously. And you can see the difference. It isn't massive. It certainly isn't hundreds of pounds worth of difference. It might be if you'd got a lot of apps running at the same time, though, I have to say. And you can see scrolling-wise, I mean, I'm scrolling through just fine. Alright, so I'm going to load a 1080p video side by side. You see they loaded up pretty much exactly the same. So let's see how quickly they auto-rotate. Instantaneous. I mean, I'm quite impressed with the speed that auto-rotates, to be honest. For a phone of its price range, you kind of expect the auto-rotate to take a second or two. That's pretty great. Color-wise, I've noticed that the S7 Edge is kind of almost too saturated, and the W9 is almost not saturated enough. So there's quite sparse amount of color difference between the two. I know it's kind of hard to tell because I'm filming it with the camera, but the quality between those two images is astounding on both cameras. I actually prefer the color of the W9, I gotta say. There's actually a lot more yellow in the S7 Edge image, which is strange. I'm not sure which I prefer. I'm not sure I care. I mean, to be honest, if you don't have these phones side by side, the difference in quality is nominal. The other thing I should also point out is that you can actually alter the color balance and the saturation and various other settings on the W9, and you can't do it on the S7 Edge. The S7 Edge does have some settings that you can alter, but not to the same degree that you can with this. I'm not saying that this is better than the S7 Edge, it isn't, but it is amazingly close considering it's such a difference in price. So the big question is, would I buy this phone? And the answer is, for £160, absolutely I would. It's got an awful lot of technology in it for such a low price tag. It's got an octa-core. It's got an octa-core processor in it, and the octa-core processor, I know that's kind of meaningless in a way. Not all processors are created equally. It's like saying, if I've got a quad-core processor in my Samsung phone, and then I've got one of these and I've put 8 hedgehog droppings in it. It's not quite the same thing. Just because there are 8 of them doesn't mean it's awesome. But it does lots of other really cool things as well. So it's a little bit slower than the S7 Edge. The S7 Edge doesn't have a dual SIM card slot in it, and that's kind of a big deal, and something I'm really going to miss when I have to go back to the S7 Edge. This currently has both my home SIM and my work SIM in it, and it's been really handy. I think it's important to mention that I did a bit of research on this phone before I started, and there were reviews from people saying that the battery life was terrible. I think the battery life has a lot to do with the cable that you use. I would always recommend using the cable that came with it. I also read reviews from people saying that it came with adware on it. I've scanned it with Avast and Kaspersky,
Copernicus,
whatever it's called. I scanned it with it, and it hadn't got any adware, malware, nothing on it of any concern. Now, I've been comparing this to an S7 Edge, which is kind of ridiculous, because the difference in price is absolutely massive. But for anyone who's interested, here's some stats down the side to show the difference between the two phones. A couple of things I'll pull out. This has 16 gig of storage, which is awesome, because I got a work phone recently, which was a Samsung, and it doesn't have anywhere near enough storage for me to install all of the apps that I've installed. And all of the apps that I've installed on this phone, with plenty of room to spare, are running down here right now. Also, its Antutu score. I know there are a whole bunch of you going, well, but what's its Antutu score? Terrible, of course. Its Antutu score is terrible. Get over it. Anyway, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button. And if this video has been of use to you and you'd like to help support me, there are links in the description to help donate to my cause. I'll see you next time. Stop squeaking chair. Stop being a squeaky stool. It is really, really insane. I am insane too. Insane in the membrane. Problem number 5. The camera is... I can't say that enough. To give you an idea of my bum. A rubber flap. That's a dirty word. A good tour of the operating system.